This here is a model of the Mercury Redstone rocket. This was the first rocket that took an American into space, May 5th, 1961. Basically, it was just a missile with a capsule placed on top. But it is what would pave the way to the moon landing of 1969. Yeah. What do you think? Should we launch this sucker?
Yeah!
Yeah! All right, rocket armed. In 3, 2, 1.
Blast off!
Wow, things sure have changed. Space has always fascinated and inspired me. From comets, planets, and eclipses, to tracking satellites, or streaming a launch with my kids.
Yay!
I'd always wanted to see a launch in person. But when, where, and what rocket? Those are the questions. I have actually seen a rocket launch. Sort of. Every now and again, we can catch the tail end of a SpaceX launch. But for this thrill, I needed to head south to Florida's Space Coast to witness the launch of NASA's next moon rocket. Artemis. 322 feet of pure power. Twin SRBs matched with 4 RS-25s taken from the shuttle era would not only propel this rocket to the moon, but to the top spot for most powerful rocket ever. First, I needed to get to the Kennedy Space Center. For this, I found myself down in Orlando, Florida, where I met up with one of my best friends for an early morning commute. Hi, Mike.
Hey, bud.
Hey. It's 5:30 a.m. We've been in traffic for probably 40 minutes now.
Yeah, at least.
Trying to go a mile to a checkpoint.
1 mile.
1 mile.
Here
We're on our way, but we'll see where we actually
are.
see the launch from.
Yeah.
After years of setbacks, launch was set for August 29th, 2022 at 8:33 a.m. I knew this was going to be a big launch, but I wasn't prepared for the amount of traffic there was. Upwards of 500,000 people showed up, lining all the streets, causeways, and sidewalks leading toward Launch Pad 39B in hopes of catching that perfect shot. This is going to be a long, slow journey. We just spent, hour and a half, hour 45 minutes traveling 1 mile. And it wasn't over yet. Alright, so we got through the first security check and there's no traffic now, so we are moving. And we can look across the causeway and we can see her sitting on the pad right now. After nearly 3 hours in traffic, we had made it, and we're on our way over to the viewing area at the Apollo Saturn Center at Banana Creek. Seeing this mega rocket on the pad was truly inspirational. Expectations were sky high. Then,
the launch director has called us from for the day.
engineers couldn't get one of the RS-25s down to temperature, so they were forced to scrub. Turns out it was just a faulty sensor. But unfortunately, they didn't know this at the time. And not all was lost. We had the entire day to explore Kennedy Space Center, and there's plenty to explore. Spacesuits, capsules, moon rocks, and a Saturn V rocket were all highlights of the Apollo Saturn Center. And let's not forget the control center setup. Oh yeah, I'd make a great engineer. Once done there, it was back to the main visitor complex to check out the rocket garden and STS setup. By the way, those solid rocket boosters are 149 feet tall. Artemis boosters are 177. In addition to the rockets, there are shows, exhibits, activities, and displays honoring the heroes of space, both living and fallen. I'd highly recommend visiting their website to see all they have to offer. There's simply far too much to show in this video. A lot of samples in here. So this is the moon. Ooh, smooth. That's right. I touched the moon. No doubt this was a great day, but I was here for a launch. Next attempt, September 3rd, 2022 at 2:17 p.m. So after a few quick days at home, it was back to the Space Center. September 3rd, 2022. We're on our way back to KSC. Second time.
She's gonna go today.
You know it. Things were again looking up. Then...
But it has been an official start for today.
Again? This time it was due to a hydrogen leak, a problem which plagued this mission from day one. Faulty sensors, hydrogen leaks, rollbacks, hurricanes. Opportunities kept slipping away. Finally, the next launch window arrived, November 16th, 2022. An early morning window starting at 1:04 a.m. Would third time be the charm? Once again, expectations were high, and the skies were clear. KSC was estimating upwards of 15,000 attendees on site to watch this historic maiden flight. Everyone was coming out for the launch, even the area armadillo. There was something about seeing her lit up at night that was truly inspiring. Soon, we'd be witness to something unseen since the days of Apollo.
Hanging above me here is a one-to-one model of the Saturn V. This is the rocket that first took humans to the moon back in the late 60s and early 70s. At liftoff, she produced, on average, 7.5 million pounds of thrust. When Artemis lifts off, she'll be producing 8.8 million pounds, making her not only the most powerful rocket in operation today, but the most powerful rocket ever.
This was going to be one big show. Oh, and don't worry about that fire. It was simply excess hydrogen burning off. And speaking of hydrogen, it appeared that that pesky leak was finally fixed. At least in the initial fill. However, when needing to replenish the tanks, yet another leak was detected. What now? Well, it's the Red Crew's time to shine. The Red Crew is made up of specially trained individuals who can work on fully fueled rockets while on the pad. The solution? Just tighten some bolts. Luckily, the fix worked and the countdown continued. Then, all range data was lost. What's the importance of range data? Well, this is what lets range flight safety know if the airspace around the rocket and along the flight path is clear. It also allows for communication to the rocket in case of an unexpected issue which requires a self-detonation or a manual one. Definitely not a good thing to lose. Luckily, the issue was traced to a faulty switch in an Ethernet hub. An hour plus later, the hub was fixed and the countdown continued.
I just got notification we are in countdown.
You don't need me explaining a liftoff. Here we go.
The Space Launch System has been in development more than a decade, over budget and behind schedule. But now, after all the delays, the hurricanes and hydrogen leaks, the time for SLS and Artemis 1.
wasn't just the sight, it was the noise and the vibrations. They were all enveloping. Soaring through the sky, the twin sister to Apollo, Artemis once again opened up the pathway to human moonflight. Booster separation was a success, and the core stage continued on into the night. Soon all that was left was a smoking launch pad and a massive contrail in the sky.
That was incredible. Video it can't do it justice. That was just unbelievable. The light, the sound, the feeling of it hitting you. Definitely something, if you ever get the chance to, even if it's not something big as Artemis, get down here. Get down here to the Kennedy Space Center. Take a day, check it out. Check out a launch. You will not regret it. Trust me. Definitely a thrill for King of the Thrill. And in this episode, Friend of the Thrill.
Thanks for checking out this episode of King of the Thrill. For more information of space travel and launches, visit kennedyspacecenter.com. Please like, subscribe to this channel, and share this video. I'm Tim Lawrence for King of the Thrill. I may be over the hill, but I'm not over the thrill.